Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about compatibility between an Aries and another Aries. Now, yes, it is pertaining to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. So, anyway, well, I think the thing is, regardless whether it's platonic or it's a romantic relationship that exists between these two people, when you have two people that are in the same sign, they can really there's can be a strong positive, a strong negative. I see this combination as neutral. You have two people where you have this mutual admiration society. Both may possess very strong leadership attributes, be very courageous, have a lot of fortitude, and these two can very likely be willing to stick up for each other when necessary, and you don't have to worry too much about these people suppressing anything from each other. In a On the negative side, though, when you have an Aries and an Aries together, though, whether it's platonic or it's a romantic situation, the thing about it is you have both these signs can be very outspoken and so willing to speak their mind. You could have a very forthright and direct kind of connection with these two, but the thing is, it could be contentious and combative because both these signs can be angered readily. And I'm not saying necessarily a physical, it could result in physical confrontations, but you could have some verbal bouts because of this, because both the signs, you have this impatience that goes on between the two, and you have the fact that they both can be easily agitated. On the positive side, they both can forgive and forget quite readily, and they're not generally vindictive or vengeful or grudge holding. So on that, you have that positive. But when you have two signs, regardless of signs that are of the same sign, you could have a very strong positive energy between the two, but also a negative one as well. So I do see this as a neutral thing as far as compatibility goes in synastry. And a lot of times when you have two people of the same sign, you want to. I think it's important to look at the whole synastry chart more so than other aspects. Because I mean, as far as other basic compatibility aspects between signs, because the conjunction being neutral, if you have, say, a lot of sextiles in trines, for example, in the chart, then it's obviously more auspicious and favorable. But if you have a lot of oppositions and squares between you and the other person's chart, then obviously there could be some obstacles and obstructions and things to work on, and then having that same sign energy might not quite be really as positive, because you have you have a lot of those negative adverse aspects between the two people in the chart. Now, the thing about this is that the thing is, no one has to really, in terms of Aries and Aries, being as outspoken as they could be very aggressive and assertive. Neither one would have to really rush the other in terms of consummating or finishing projects. So that is a positive with that. However, the problem is that with Aries people, they generally are very strong about enterprise in initiating projects and embarking on them, but they're not always about the persistence as far as following through on them, and it would be hard for one to give the other encouragement on that because they are so similar in this manner. The two of them may very strongly collaborate and embark on maybe a number of projects together and really be very aggressive in going about this. But as far as finishing them, that would be could be an entirely different story. Now, if if one or more of these people have a strong fixed element in the chart, this might help that out to some degree as far as actually consummating and finishing the effort, so to speak. In a romantic relationship, both these people might be very ardent and amorous, and as Mars rules Aries, and as far as the sexual aspect of things, obviously you would have a very both these signs would both these people more likely than not would be real more than willing to give of themselves as far as from a sexual standpoint or aspect. Now, if it's a platonic friendship between the two, you do have, as I stated before, you have that strong, you have the Martian energy, and you have this this ability where you can get one person to get the other. Maybe they don't need much. They don't need much influence from the other to start things, but as far as the finishing, that could be obviously something different. And the thing about this is that you would have maybe the certain blow-ups between the two people. You could obviously have maybe kind of a friendly competitive thing going, as both these people might very well have some interest or affinity for sports and competition. So but the problem is, if one loses uh, too much to the other one, and it's not competitive, and it's more like one person is constantly beating the other and dominating the other in the competition, then you might get some angry feelings from the other Aries that is losing consistently. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having for Aries and Aries compatibility in astrology. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the compatibility between Aries and Taurus in astrology. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.